Did you hear them door for it? I think it's somebody else coming in, which is fine. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Get to where you can't holler at me, okay? All right. So, Jim, Mr. Patrick, would you please send the prayer, please? Okay.
All right. Let's pray. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day and the lessons of life that you've given us, Lord. Given us a real pretty day, and thank you for the people that showed up concerned with the business of our county. Lord, you blessed our county with this COVID and with all the things that are going on, Lord, that you still blessed us so much. We want to thank you for it. Ask that as we conduct this meeting, let it be in your goodwill and honor, that we as commissioners will give us wisdom to say the right things, Lord, and to make the right moves, so we pleasing in your sight. Thank you again for your love and for your Son Jesus. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Cersei, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, number two, we unfinished business will approve the minutes of the April 13th meeting, regular meeting. Commissioner Cersei, any errors or omissions in the minutes?
None I found,
Commissioner Patterson?
I have no concerns or corrections. I'm good.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the April 13th meeting. Can I get a
I
second?
second.
All in favor?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you get Mr. Patterson to turn his mic down toward him a little bit for me.
Sure.
I got it.
Thank you.
No problem, John.
Thanks, sir. Okay. Item number 3 is a discussion of the UNG campus turn lane that was tabled from our last meeting. Commissioner Patterson, it's all right, I'll start with this.
That'll be fine. No
Mr.
problem.
Cersei?
No, go right ahead.
So there's a couple of questions that I had regarding this, and I'm not sure if Mr. Kiefer's here. Ms. Ott's here.
Sorry.
Okay. A couple of questions that I have and some concerns, to be quite honest with you. So when we talk about the turn lane, let's go back a little bit. Does anybody know when this actually started? When did the LMIC program actually start?
I do. If you need.
Y'all mind, she ain't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody, is that okay?
Yeah,
Go right ahead.
We actually started, that was an excess LD that we got. I didn't know y'all were talking about this tonight, or I'd have brought
No,
all the
that's okay.
information. So
Well, all
I
right.
might give you the wrong exact time, but we actually were asked to go ahead and apply for some extra LD. That was actually prior to you actually building the building, see? I think it was right about that time.
Can you hear me, John?
Can you hear
No,
me?
ma'am.
Will you pick
Why
up
don't
the
you, why don't you
mic?
step up to the mic,
It might be.
so everybody can hear you.
I thought I was loud enough.
It's all right.
Okay, so
Oh,
we applied for the excess funding sometime around the same time as the construction started. Typically, we only get about $40,000 in LD, so this was an additional LD fund of $150,000.
Okay.
I can tell you a whole lot about this project. It started out as one turning lane, then GDOT came back to us and wanted us to do a lane on both sides. that project was gonna be outside of the $150,000. There was no way we could do it. I had 3 or 4 meetings with GDOT asking to let us go back to just the left turn into the college. That probably happened last summer or fall, somewhere in there. Mr. Kiefer designed the project twice, or Whitcomb's, I guess, has actually been paid for it. So they paid for all the engineering, which was about $58,000 to $60,000, somewhere in there. And he could probably give you an actual total, because we didn't do that. But we did apply for the award for the bid.
Okay.
Or we applied for the bid, and we were awarded it.
Did you get it fairly quickly, or did it just happen recently?
No, we just got the money within the last 6 months, I think.
Okay.
And we bid it out a few months ago, and they're about to start the construction on that.
Okay. Great.
And if I had known, I could have brought the whole file. There's a file on it. But I'll be glad to send that to you also, so you have all that
And
information.
that'd be great if you could, that way you can take a look at it.
The project's about $220,000. And then, of course, the engineering was on top of that, but that was paid for by Mr. Kiefer or the Wickens.
Okay.
So that makes it 270 to 280.
Okay. Another huge concern that I have is, and again, we're not trying to step on anybody's toes or anything like that, I understand that, okay? So, we just entered in got a LMIG grant, if you're, the LMIG last meeting, I believe it was, Mr. Ratcliffe, is that correct? Okay. So I know that the county is responsible for that portion of it. You see what I'm saying? So, in other words, if the county stepped up and done this, would that open up another door, say, for like the Ford place, for instance? Hey, we feel that safety is an issue with us. Can you do that for us as well? So, can you see the concerns as far as that goes and first and foremost, I want everybody to understand that safety for these students is huge for me. We talked about it a little bit in the last meeting, but the safety of these students is huge. But at the same time, what Pandora's box? I mean, would it open up for people in the future? Would people in the past who have had to pay for their own turn lanes, so to speak, would they be trying to come back after us? In other words, what are the legalities that surround all this?
Well, I can tell you exactly, probably tell you more so than I can. He's a little more familiar with GDOT. For an R cut, you've got to get permission from the state for an R cut, first of all. And a lot of people that are talking about those turning lanes are talking about the decelerating lanes that they have to pay for and put in to go into their property. So those are two different things. If you wait, and Johnny knows this, if we don't do something with that turn they're having to do past the bridge, we're just waiting for something to happen. And I don't want somebody to come back to us and say, okay, why did the city and the county not do anything about this? So we could be either side of the coin.
Yeah.
If we do it, we're going to be bashed. If we don't do it, we're going to be bashed if something happens. So it's needed. There are a lot of kids, but there are a lot of adults that use that intersection too. I can't tell you how many times I've passed by Eagles and think, oh, gosh, I've got to go up and turn around and go back. I'm going to get something. Do you have any other questions for me?
I don't know.
Not at this moment.
You do know that the college did pay
$35,000.
Right.
$35,000.
Right.
$35,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Searcy, you got anything on that, sir?
No, sir.
Anything else, Mr. Fannin?
No, I think it's well spoken what you said. It's just, if we set a precedence, where does it stop? The only key figure in that is the children, the kids. But it's a tough decision.
And it is. And just as a parent of a child going to college, I mean, that's, I think I've told some of you that tugs at my heartstrings. And then you look at the business side as well, and you're thinking, well, is that going to open up something in the future? So they're tough decisions that need to be made. This is obviously one. But I I just need to, I need a little more time to really think about it. And-
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
what does our county attorney think?
Ms. Dawes?
About the liability issues maybe that could be rise from what you were saying? What is her opinion, in other words?
Mr. Searcy, Commissioner Searcy, the county would not have any liability per se because that is a state highway. It's a state highway and the right-of-way for the state highway is within the city.
Okay. Just wanted to ask.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I think, to be honest with you, I think I need a little more time, if you guys are in agreement.
Ms. Ott, do you have anything
You have
further to
anything
say?
add, son?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Sadie Ott with the University of North Georgia. Again, I appreciate thank you for your consideration, and thank you to the city for being here and for considering, again, like you said, the safety. And while it is for students as well as the community, and I think we see an example of the community use of this facility coming up on May the 12th with the job fair, and ways that this campus is not only impacting the educational aspects of this community, but across the board. So I just wanted, with economic development as well as community service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there land over in that area for further development? Someone told me that there's possibilities.
Yes, but they can also come off of Windy Ridge Road too.
I believe there's 4 additional lots.
Are they large tracts or just lots? Do you know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I don't know the acreage or.
I think one of them will be a big box of some type.
You say they come off Windy Ridge as well?
They can come off, or not Windy Ridge, I'm sorry, Industrial Park.
Okay, industrial.
Right.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
With
ma'am.
that amount, I mean, I know that it's county property that borders the right of way for the city. Have you considered maybe us, and this would have to go back to council, it being a split between the city and the county? I mean, we can have the road, but we don't have any properties that we tax on that side of the road, on either side. So all of that tax revenue is coming back to the county. So that's how the city looked at it. We're not getting any tax revenue. So I'll be glad to take that back to them if you were willing to do a split, a shared, we need to think about safety also, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, just to be honest with you, that's the first time anybody's ever offered to share it.
Well, I don't get to make that decision.
I understand that.
But I would be glad to take that back. I think mine would be a better take a share. The last thing we want is a tragedy.
You're right, I agree. It's something we may consider, but we have to look at all of our options as well, because regardless, it benefits all of us. I mean, we can sit here and say that, the county gets all the taxes off of it, but those folks that are going there, yeah, it benefits all of us in the long run. So, but yeah, that is something that we may look at moving forward, but in the meantime, we may table it again and bring it up the next meeting. It'll give us another opportunity to kind of look and see what's going to be beneficial for us moving forward, all of us.
The
So-
orange barrels are there now, Jamie, and so
Yeah.
they should start construction within the next week or so.
So when is the end date?
About 30 days, they should be complete. So you should have a couple of meetings between them.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Commissioner?
Good.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Move into new business. We have a variance request from Gary and Jean Ann Miller to place pre-built shed at its closest point 3 foot from the property line. Is anybody here to support Mr. and Ms. Miller? Is anybody here to oppose it? Okay. Commissioner Patterson?
Well, I went out and looked at it and talked to Mr. Miller. He's just recently bought the property. And he does have a letter from the person next door for a 3 foot variance. But as many of you, or some of you already know, that we don't really have the 3 foot variance here, okay? It's just too close. And if someone wanted to put a ladder on a house, it could be on their side and the ladder go over to the other side. So therefore, I talked to the gentleman, and that we could, the lowest we could go was 6 foot. And he agreed to that, and that's provisional. I would recommend that we go with the 6 foot at least, okay? And we can go through Miss Woody and land development, and I think that would be the limit that we could go, a 6 foot variance. And I spoke with him, and he said that he would do that. He's out of town right now, but he said that would be something that he definitely would do, sign off on.
Okay. Commissioner Searson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I've always been under the impression that they always wanted a barrier 10 feet from the property line. And that was the Board of Commissioners. I've been to several of their meetings before I decided to run, and that's one of the things that I watched the chairman and the post commissioners do, is keep it a 10-foot barrier. But after looking at the paperwork that I was sent, they do have a letter that the neighbors must have worked out with these people. I didn't know that Mr. Patterson went and talked and seen this, but Mr. Patterson, did you say 6 foot? They was agreeing to 6 foot?
Yes,
Okay.
with the letter of consent.
Yes, sir. But they have the letter, and I looked at it too, so that helps me a little bit there, because I'm still trying to stay with what the history of the board has always done, to be fair to everybody, and okay, that makes me feel a lot better than that 3 foot, so anyways, that's it.
Okay. I also went out and took a look at it. He does have room to move up to 6 feet
Okay.
barrier there. And we know how homes are selling, like hotcakes here in Fannin County. And this letter may be good from the current neighbor, but if they sold, the next neighbor may not be so happy with it. I think 6 feet
Well, we
minimum.
probably won't be in office then, so we don't have to worry about it.
You're probably right. You're probably right. So I will ask for a motion to approve the variance request from Gary and Jean Ann Miller, not to be less than 6 feet away from the property line. We would need to make a notation on that
I'll
variance.
second that. I'll agree with that.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
All right. Just make sure.
And that's with the letter.
Yes.
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 Okay. The next variance request is from Matthew and Angela Hike. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And what it is to place a deck 8 foot from the property line. They also have the approval of their neighbor as well to be within 8 feet. Commissioner Surgeon?
I looked that one over, I don't have an issue. There again, though, you know, it's going against what I felt as far as the 10 foot, but we just approved one for 6, so I don't have a problem with that.
Commissioner Patrick?
Well, I went out and looked at it today. Like I said, this old boy would not ever build up there. It's just, I know the view's great, but it scares me half to death driving up that mountain on Grandeur. One lane and big old potholes about like a battleship. But they got it up there. No, 8 foot is fine with me. Talked with the guy out there today, and he assured me that he would get 8 foot.
I was looking at Mr. Ratcliffe to make sure that wasn't our road.
And Mr. Ratcliffe, he tried to explain to me about the person that looked before I did today.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out if it was you, if it was Jamie. He said he was short, kind of muscular.
Well, it did say muscular.
And then I thought, was that Zach Ratcliffe?
I knew it had to be Zach, it wasn't me.
He was backing up, trying to give us a compliment, I believe.
So I too went and looked at it, and yeah, my nose about started bleeding on the porch up there, taking a look, but I have no problem with it, so I will ask for a motion that we approve the variance request from Matthew and Angela Hike. Before I do that, I apologize. One second. Is there anybody here that opposes this variance request? My apologies, I got to put that out there. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Searcy.
I said,
You make the motion?
I make the motion, I'm sorry, yes, sir.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So number six is a variance request from Brad and Rebecca Williams. And Ms. Dawes, if my recollection is good, this actually dates back a few months in the past, correct?
Fall of 2020.
So what it is, just kind of catch you up to speed a little bit. There was a fence that was placed close to Lebanon Road, a little bit closer than it should have been, and was used 6x6 posts. So it was actually more of a safety hazard to the people driving down Lebanon Road than it was anything else. So I think after communication back and forth, he has agreed, or Mr. and Ms. Williams have agreed, to move the fence back an additional 6 feet and use 4x4 posts, which I think is more standard when it comes to the fence.
And I know that Mr. Ratcliffe and Mr. Nicholson, the location where they've moved the fence back to is in line where other parties have their fences. There's too much right of way on that road, but predates all of us. But the big concern was that, if I've got Zach's terminology right, the 6x6 posts, the DOT do not consider breakaway.
No.
And they're just, a car's gonna lose.
Safety
And
factor.
so, by going to the 4x4s in the unfortunate event that somebody, and it is on a downhill slope. So bad weather, somebody loses control, they're gonna do damage to their car if they hit that fence. And the fence will keep them from hitting the house, but the sheer size of the fence is not going to cause injury to somebody.
Mr. Patrick?
I looked at it, and the 14 feet that's on the variance should be sufficient in this case, with, of course, the 4x4 posts rather than the 6x6s. So I'm good with it.
Okay. Commissioner Searcy?
I'm good.
Okay. Is there anyone here opposes this variance request? Okay. I'll ask for a motion that we approve the variance request from Brad and Rebecca Williams.
I make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Number 7 is a variance request from Jason and Summer Lyman. And their request is to place an RV cover or pole barn and utilities 15 feet from the center line of the present road. Commissioner Patterson?
I went out there, right out in the pasture actually, talked to Reed Mathis over there off of Ada, and there shouldn't be an issue. He just wants to get up here and enjoy the view. He's got a little rock patio out there, but it's out, like I say, out in the pasture, so I don't see a problem with the 15 feet. Actually, it's just a kind of a road you'd see on a farm, dirt road. It was raining, so got my car looked dirty, but anyway, that's fine.
Commissioner Searcy?
I'm good with Chairman.
So I had a couple concerns. If he was gonna place an RV out there, you know, with possible, you know, dumping, things like that, as far as sewer goes, and so myself and Miss Woody called Mr. Lyman and talked to him about it. He is now getting a septic permit and a power permit, so he is trying to do everything within his power to make sure that this is correct moving forward. So after talking to him, I didn't have any problems at all. So I will ask for a motion that we approve this variance request from Jason and Summer Lyman.
Make a motion.
Ask for a second.
I second it.
All in favor? All right, number 8, Sheriff Kirby.
Harrison, you've been busy. You've been all over the place, haven't you? Everything y'all talked about, he said, I've been there.
Fannin County.
Anyway, guys, this is a, hey, Johnny, over there, you see me?
Yeah, I can see you, sir, thank you.
Okay. This is a contract approval request from me. It's, unfortunately, our computer software is not serving our needs like it needs to anymore. We run a records management system that we do all of our incident reports on, and all of our booking and our civil and our warrants. And basically, everything we do is stored in that system. And with the things that the feds have crammed down our throats with the NIBRs and the reporting that you have to do them with them now, our current police central system is just not serving our needs anymore. And their technology is not up to date. You know, we had this NIBRs thing crammed down our throat about a year ago, and with promises from them that they were going to become compliant, and they've still not. But the system that most agencies around here use is called Eagle, and they're very compliant, and they've been kind of in from the very beginning of the NIBRs transition. They've got their system where it needs to be, and we need to swap and go to them. I'm not asking y'all for a dime of money. We got money in our budget that can cover this, because it's not a lot of money. It's about $1,600 extra is all it'll cost us a year to do it, to swap. I don't want to confuse y'all with a bunch of numbers, but that $1,600 figure is the most important one, because that's how much more we're going to have to pay. But you know, they're going to charge us $15,000 to come in and set this system up. But their first year, their $5,200 annual fee is included in that $15,000. We've got it too. We're not asking y'all for no more money. But then they've kind of, this old system that we're running right now, they've kind of got us by the short hairs, because they have all of our data that we have to have. So we're paid up with them for a year till about March of 2022. So we won't have to do anything till then. But after that, it's going to cost us about $2,500 a year to be able to continue to view those files. We don't have to pay the $2,500, but they won't maintain the system if we don't. So if something happens, we can't get into it. So anyway, in a nutshell, I'm here to ask for y'all's approval to enter into a contract with Eagle. It's a year-by-year contract. They'll charge us $15,000 to come in and start us up. $5,200 a year. That's $1,600 more than what we're paying right now. So, any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Yes, sir, Sheriff, how long do you think you're gonna have to pay that 2,500?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna kind of test the waters just a little. It's hard to say. There's gonna come a point where we won't pay it anymore, but I don't really know when that's gonna be. I'd say for the next 2 years, we won't have, we've already paid it this year. So we'll probably pay it in 2022 and 2023, and then we'll just have to see how much we're having to go back and access those files and see if it's worth it or not. And even if we don't pay it, we can continue to access until something happens with the system. So, I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but that's the best one I got. Just don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Not this necessary,
On this Eagle software that you're talking about is, so I know it's gonna be $1,600 more, but if I'm hearing you right, it's a whole lot easier to deal with. Is that correct? Are you aware of?
From what I've never ran that Eagle software, but from what I'm being told, it's a whole lot better.
Okay.
Their technology's better, and it does a lot more of the importing for you to keep you from having to do it yourself. It links things together, in other words, that should be linked. Police Center just can't get there for some reason.
So it's more efficient to begin
Oh,
with?
a whole lot more, yeah, much more.
And then what about like if you call Eagle as opposed to the software you're using now, can you get somebody on there to help?
Well, I've never operated that system. I've never been at an agency that did, but a lot of them do. And I've heard no complaints in the customer service arena whatsoever.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Eagle, that's a good company. They've been really good for law enforcement. He's going with a good company.
That's the one that everybody around here uses.
Yes.
Yeah.
that's good.
Well, I'm good if you guys are.
I'm fine with it. I'm good with it.
We'll ask for a motion that we change software company for the sheriff's office.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor?
Mayor, pay attention to that now. We'll have to do that for long.
All right. Number 9, we have our human resources, Jessica Hall. And so if you would just kind of give us a little background of what we're handing that out, or if you want me to, as far as how we come to the decision that we're coming to.
Jessica Hall, if nobody knows, I am the Human Resource Director at the Fannin County Courthouse. Been with the county for a little over a month now. So come into the job, and it is open enrollment coming up for the county. Open enrollment is in June, and July 1st is when our insurance goes live. So I had a meeting with our current brokers. Jamie, the commissioner, was in it, and Renee Hamby, that is in Public Works now, was in the meeting. And we met with them and kind of talked about some of our numbers, our claims and everything. And we asked them about our current coverage and what would be, when we come up on renewal, what would happen. So they told us it didn't matter who we went to insurance-wise. It didn't matter what broker went to, say United Healthcare or Blue Cross Blue Shield. They would all get the same quote. So at that time, we were like, so it doesn't matter who our broker is, everybody would get the same quote on the insurance. So they told us yes. So that's why we came up with requesting for the RFQ, requesting for qualifications. Because it doesn't matter who our broker is, we're still going to get the same quote for insurance as what the broker can do for us as a county. So that's why we sent out the RFQ. So I posted it on the government website, sent out a couple emails to some local insurance brokers, and we received 4 interest in the insurance as being the broker. So there was a company out of Virginia, Deltex, that emailed me and then called me also, but we did not receive a RFQ from them. Then I got 4 RFQs, and I'll hand these out. So we sent Johnny,
Thank you.
Mr. Searcy, what we had received also. So he does have everything that we have given out also. So we set a deadline for these RFQs, and then we got the RFQs back, and we had a meeting with our county attorney, Lynn Doss, and Sherry Walker and I was in that meeting, and we went over these packages of the RFQs. So the 3 brokers that we received the RFQs are the MSI, that is in the white folder, the total insurance, which is our current insurance, that is in the yellow envelope, and then the KPI, PVG, that is in the blue folder.
Who's that other one? I can't hardly hear you.
KPI in the PVG, that was the last one, that was in the blue folder.
Okay.
So we asked in the RFQ for their qualifications, and then we looked through each package to see what that broker could do for us as a county. So if you want to look through the packages that we sent out, you'll see everything that they sent us. Some went above and beyond with the packages they sent to us also. They included like timelines of when they would come back and meet with our county employees. They included packages of what the insurance would look like. They included brochures and like a breakdown of if they chose, say, medical, dental, and vision, what that would be deducted out of their paychecks. So you can look over those and see what they sent to us. I know we're going to have a working commissioners meeting on the 11th. So we'll go back through and we're actually going to invite those brokers in and they will see, you know, come tell you a little bit about more of what they sent us. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I have one.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a total of how many county employees we have?
We gave them that we had 250 county employees.
250?
250.
250?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
So I know you, we were ready to talk to you, had 4, correct?
Yes, they never, the company out of Virginia never sent any RFQ for the qualifications in. They did contact me, asked me when the deadline was, and I emailed them. They had got it off of the government website, and I emailed them the RFQ also. So the brokerage fees or commission fees is really what we're looking at, because that is what is going to cost us as a county. So our current insurance, the percentage is 4.8. That is the total insurance. The MSI benefits, their percentage when I called and spoke with them was 3%, which they said was negotiable. I know Commissioner Hensley had been told at 2.5%. So I think we could probably get them down to that 2.5%. I spoke with the KPI, PVG insurance.
Commissioner Cersei, can you hear? If you'll speak into the
No, I can't understand, what the other percentage was after that, 3%.
2.5%.
Telling you that,
Yes, they had spoke with Commissioner
what was that?
Inslee, the 2.5%. He said, the MSI benefits said they could get down to 2.5% from the 3%. It was a negotiable percentage.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The KPI and the PBG insurance, they just cannot give us a percentage right now because they work off commission. And they have not got a quote from any insurance, so that is why we can't have a percentage from them.
Okay.
It would be, because it's two insurance brokers, it would be split 50-50 between them.
Okay.
And included in the fees on the KPI, the PBG, there was a fee for $3.06 per employee for our 1095s. And what a 1095 is a proof of insurance. And usually when you go to have your taxes done, a 1095 is just proving that you would have insurance, because in the past, you were penalized for not having insurance.
Okay. Is everybody doing that type of fee?
No, they are not.
And that's a fee that we would pay, right?
It is.
Okay. Huh.
We're sure that all the brokers have the same, they can get the same quotes, and the
Yes.
quote's gonna be always the same?
Yes, we were told that, yes. And I asked.
Well, you was told that, but is
Yes.
that a fact?
I asked the MSI benefits also, and he said, yes, that was the truth, that it didn't matter. It all depends on what we're getting for our money. Say, one broker says $200 for a deductible, go to the emergency room. It all depends on what that $200 is going towards. They may gain percentages back from the insurance company for saying, oh, the $200 is only going for them to walk through the door. It's not paying any doctor fees, tests, or anything like that. So they may get some percentages off of the United Healthcare, say, for only saying $200 is to go through the door.
So we're not comparing apples to apples.
Correct.
Well, most of our employees and most people, they're gonna be looking at the biggest thing. There's a lot of factors involved, but the biggest thing is price.
Correct.
And sometimes, you say, well, you get a low price, you may not get a good
good
product.
coverage.
You
Yes.
get what you pay for, in other words.
Mhm.
So are we looking at all those factors? Are we looking at price? Are we looking at service and coverage? I would think those three things.
I
So are we
think,
gonna line all three of those up?
yes. So I think really what we're really looking at right now is what are we getting for our money?
Yeah.
What is our 4.8 percentage paying for right now? What would our 3% pay for? So, I know, there's a lot of differences between the packets that you receive. Right now, my job is made a little bit harder because it's all paper. I'm having to physically go into our payroll system and input deductions. I know with the MSI benefits, that is automatically uploaded into our payroll system. When an employee, is terminated, that's it with the insurance. We're not having to pay back, them paying for insurance after they quit. The MSI would keep up with that, just the technology of it. And then I know some of them are, you sign up electronically, and where the total insurance is not, it's all paper. I know the KPI, the PBG, and the MSI are all electronic signing up.
Are we gonna be able to put more money back into the employees' pockets?
We're hoping to get a good quote on our insurance. We just received our renewal. Received it yesterday, but because we were out, we only got to look at that today. In the renewal, it had that our current was going up 28%, and that in their fee was going up. It was a 5.2% built into the quote.
So, wait a minute here. I didn't really understand all that right there. So the fee for the employee, they're gonna pay more?
We as employees are gonna pay more, yes.
So, and this is our current insurance. is what
Current
you're saying.
insurance, yes.
It's
Going
going
up
up 28%.
28%.
Well, I think you need to, commissioners, I just think we need to ask for those other people that, you know, everybody that's wanting to be our broker, if that's the case, they need to come, let us ask them some questions. Because you know, we give a 3% raise to our employee fees. So, I mean, really, if it's gonna cost them, how much percentage did you say it was gonna go up?
28%. There's some different plans. They said they could get it to 20% in the renewal.
That's hard on that. I mean, goodness gracious, they're awful gracious on that. I think we need to come ask these people to come talk to us, because I'm wanting to give, this is just me now, I'm not trying to be mean or hateful or ugly, but we're trying to work to help our employees, to make them feel better that they work for Fannin County. And I'm not wanting to give them 3%, and it's gonna cost them 2% more, well, on top of that raise, to pay for their insurance, it just went 24 or 25% up.
Correct.
Now, that's like putting a chandelier in an outhouse, ain't it?
No, I think we're all on the same page right there, Commissioner Searcy, we are, and that's, I feel, that this is the reason why we're actually looking at brokers, to help us get the best deals moving forward. Because like I say, this is, I mean, it's 28% up, according to Ms. Hall here already. And again, not trying to sound mean like you, but, you know, go to 4.8 to 5.2. And I kind of got a figure as far as the interest or the insurance is, what we pay annually. And that's a substantial amount of money, go from even from 4.8 to 2.5. And I agree with Commissioner Patterson, this we were talking about having a workshop right before the meeting on May the 11th. And that would allow all three brokers to come in and actually talk to us and have us ask them some questions as well. And that will also give us some time to actually look over these packets.
That's good, that's good.
So if that all right with you?
Right. The other thing you mentioned about a lot of it, did you say they can use a computer to go online and sign up?
Well, the brokers would come in and electronically sign us up.
Good.
And then it would download into our payroll system, where now it's all by paper. I'm having to manually go into each employee and put their deductions in.
But they will sign us up, because a lot of it's customer service, and we've got a lot of different type of employees.
Right.
And some of them can't use the computer.
Right. I know
And get it correct.
Yes, I know the MSI sent in a paper, you'll see in the packet, where they would be here 4 different days. You know, they would go to Public Works, they would go, say, to the fire department, they would go to the courthouse 2 different days. And it was different times where they could sign us up, where I know in the past, it may have only been 1 day, and it may have only been, you know, 2 different locations.
But they will sign us up.
Yes,
On all 3?
yes,
Whichever one gets. Okay.
yeah.
Excuse me, I do think that you know, with 250 employees, I don't think it's out of question that we could probably ask some of the needs of our employees to see how we should lean toward helping them, coverage, you know, with their self and their families. So, I mean, and then that way we can see, but I am totally, you know, a 28% hike is, I don't know, I'm having a hard time swallowing that one.
Very good, Jim. Mr. Patrick, anything else?
Is that 28%, I mean, is that statewide or, I mean, is that, I know it's a general
Right.
approximate figure, and they can slide a little bit. but-
Yes, they said they might get it to 20%. It just depends on what package, you know, we could get. It did also say that if our deductible went up $1,000, they could save us a percentage.
Will some of those packages, you know, in the past, they'll have, the employee themselves can make a choice whether they want say a premium insurance or
Correct.
regular insurance. So they will have to be able to make some choices,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
All of them. That's all I got.
Good. Commissioner Cersei, you good?
Good with what?
You got anything else? Before?
No, sir, I'm fine.
All
I'm
right.
just not for that 28% high.
No, I don't think any of us are. I'm glad you're good though.
Thank you.
No, this will be something that obviously we'll table until the next meeting.
Jessica.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, number 11 is discussion regarding the White Path building. I know everybody has been patiently waiting, and I want to go back a couple of weeks ago and explain myself for not actually reading 58 pages of 54 or 58 pages of that report. I thought it would be better for us to put it online and give you a couple of weeks to be able to look that over yourself, and to come to you tonight to ask that we actually ask the commissioners for us to have a we call it a town hall meeting or a public hearing. Public hearing on next Tuesday at 5:30 here in the jury assembly room. This way you would be able to voice your opinions. I'll take all the hollering at that you want to give. I can handle it, trust me. So this would give you an opportunity to voice your concerns, approvals, whatever. But has anyone actually took the time to read that report? So we actually have a couple, three. So if you haven't, please take that time from here to next Tuesday. And again, according with the approval of the other commissioners, to have this meeting, and that way we can offer better discussion, and we will definitely listen to any pluses or negatives, anything you have to say. Commissioner Patterson, you be good with that?
What's that date next Tuesday? You know?
May the 4th, I believe.
May the 4th.
Okay.
And
What time?
5:30. So keep that in mind. It won't be at 6. It'll be at 5:30 next Tuesday. Mr. Searcy, you good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's all I had on the White Path building. So we will we'll go into public commentary.
We missed number 10.
I did skip number 10. My bad. And that's probably one of the most important things.
It is.
Commissioner Cersei, anyway.
Sorry, Commissioner Searcy.
Gotta keep it out. Mr. Cersei's good.
I was anxious to get to the White Path, my bad. So, there's a resolution to change the signatures on our banking accounts. As we know, Commissioner Johnson has left and Commissioner Searcy has been sworn in. And this is, it's standard, they would do this. So is this, again, do I make a motion to approve the resolution? Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution to change the signatures on the banking accounts from taking Commissioner Johnson off and adding Commissioner Searcy.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Okay.
We'll have to sign all four of those.
Okay. Go ahead and do that now. Let's get that.
Are we all gonna have to sign this,
You will.
Yeah.
There'll be four originals that you'll need to sign.
In case I messed up. I ain't bad having to do it right.
No,
It's too quiet. Get Patrick to sing for us too. Through intermission.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks,
There
sir.
we go.
Now, public commentary. If you wish to speak, raise your hand, come up to the podium, state your name and where you live at, if you would. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. My name is Anna Spason. I am on the board of directors with Fannin County Family Connections, which is located at 501 Fannin Industrial Park here in Blue Ridge. One of the most common statements that we've heard lately is what a tough year this has been. This last year has certainly brought a lot of uncertainty and loss to each of us. In fact, many of us lost a loved one due to illness or accident or suicide and may have been limited in grieving because of an inability or reluctance to gather with others. Mental illness is a critical public health concern in the U.S. and in our community. Each year, millions of Americans face the reality of living with mental illness. 1 in 20 adults experience serious mental illness each year, but less than 2/3 get treatment. 1 in 6 youth experience a mental health condition each year, but only half will receive treatment. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 34, and the 10th leading cause of death overall in the U.S. Fannin County Family Connection and its collaborative members focus on promoting mental health as a critical part of overall wellness. And as a community, we can make a difference in helping end the silence and stigma that for too long has surrounded mental illness and discouraging people from seeking help. During May, Fannin County Family Connections joins the national movement to raise awareness about mental health. Each year, we fight the stigma, educate the public, and advocate for policies that support people and families with mental illness. This May, we will use our time to focus on the healing value of connecting in safe ways, prioritizing mental health and acknowledging that it is okay to not be okay through blogs, personal stories, videos, digital toolkits, social media, engagements, and national events. So we are asking for our public officials to go on the record in support of mental health and a stigma-free community by proclaiming May as Mental Health Awareness Month through a public proclamation for our community. Together we can realize our shared vision of a community where anyone affected by mental illness can get the appropriate support and quality of care to live healthy, fulfilling lives. A community where no one feels alone. So Family Connections and the collaborative members are asking to be put on the agenda for an official proclamation signing designated May as Mental Health Awareness Month for Fannin County.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Stay on the agenda for next, May the 11th.
Anyone else? Going once? Okay. Yeah, quick, I was fixing to close that.
Do what?
Did you have quick, I was fixing to close that.
My name is Mike Painter, here in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and I want to talk a little bit about concept. Some of y'all read it in the paper. I've been talking with different organizations around the county about trying to put together a combined city, county, school system, aquatics, and a wellness center. And I've got some packets for the ones who have already got one. Yeah. Y'all want to- Yeah, just kind of pass it on. So, real quick, I want to, what'd you say, I had 2 hours? No.
10 minutes.
So, real quick, my background, graduated in 75, left here between the Army and college, moved back in 83. One of my first 4 or 5 months back in the county, I realized we did not have a recreation department. I went to the county commissioners to get a budget, hire a recreation director, which is what we did in 1988. And then starting in 1990, and I've given the commissioners a copy. This is our original plan for the recreation complex. We went to a squash vote, did not pass. I think that we got beat by about 148 votes. Right at the end, the commissioners kind of bailed on us. They were getting a lot of pressure on spending money for something like this. But it's interesting when you go back and look at the time in 1990, because on this complex, it had 12 tennis courts, a community center, 2 gymnasiums, a tent camping area, RV camping area, indoor-outdoor swimming pool, health and fitness facilities. These are all the things that the complex had that we never built. We came back in '02, the county did, built the current facility out there, which is about a $2 million project. At the time, in 1990, we could have built it, I think it was about $680,000, and that's with a donation with all of the facilities and everything that we have here today. So, from there, City Park, Willa Haight came to me one time. I was over there weeding and trying to figure out how we were going to play ball games at 10 o'clock at night. Willa Haight said, hey, if you'll fill out paperwork, I can get a grant. So I filled out the paperwork. We got a $25,000 grant. The city put $5,000 in. I talked to Tri-State. Tri-State came and put all the lights on the city park for free. Terry Arndt, all of them guys came out after work, climbed the poles, put everything up for us. So that was a great little process, but I've learned a lot as you go through and trying to do these different developments. So, bringing forward several years, 18 months ago, I guess it was now, I went on the city council. And right as it came in, 2 weeks later, we had COVID. We were looking at budgets, we were looking at everything, we were looking at selling property that we had that was not usable. And one of the things that popped out very quickly to me was the farmer's market. The farmer's market has been basically closed, how many years?
Over 12. I know that.
Over 12 years. So if you look at it, it's a 4.9 acres sitting between the high school and the city hall, right here in the city limits. So it's 4.9 acres of a piece of property valued at probably over $1 million that's unused. So we were looking at all the different parcels of land that we had that we could possibly liquidate, so we wouldn't have to pull money out of reserve, balance our budget. Luckily, we did not have to do any of that. But one of my plans when I decided to run for the city council was to build a YMCA. Now, I'd like a quick show of hands of anybody who's been in the YMCA. It's incredible. And if you look at this county, you look at our population in 1990, you look at the population in 2000, population currently at 2010, 2020, projected 2030. We're not building no more land. We've got very limited land. We've got a certain amount of money that comes in. So I started doing my research, and I've kind of put together, everybody's got a little proposal there, but how do you build something like this? Well, in Cherokee County, they just built a $15 million facility down there. And of course, they spent $2.5 million buying the land. They $12 million on that. Our facility would cost us somewhere between $7,000 and $9,000 because we already have the land. But we can do it in phases. We don't have to do it all up front. Million, what did I say, thousand? No, it's million. You're signing up tomorrow. Million, it's million. So, you know, I started looking at how can we fund this. And most people know me, I'm a numbers guy, so I started looking at the different things. Of course, you got SPLOST, you got loss, you got hotel motel tax, you got a lot of different things. And of course, the county needs their money, the city of Blue Ridge needs their money, the city of McCaysville. But what do we, you know, at the end of the day, we spend our money building roads, building bridges, taking care of parking issues, but we only have so much land. And if we continue to allow our land to be developed, to go high-end commercial, to people outside of our community, that land's not going to be recreated back for us down the road. And one of the things I talked to the council about, I said, look, why don't we take this facility and see if we can work with the city and the county and the school system and put something together. So I've done a lot of research. Ohio has an aquatic center in a small town about like Fannin County in Blue Ridge. And it's all, you know, I've looked at it all over. But more importantly, how many people have been to Blairfield to the indoor swimming facility? Just me? Just you? Well, I put you a picture of it in there. It's pretty impressive. And, you know, if you look at that facility, which is owned by the hospital, we could have something nicer that benefits the whole county. So, you know, I'll put everybody a piece of property. I had an architectural make a little design. I gave you a copy of the Union General Wellness Center, copy of the pool. These are the plans right here, Gilmer County. So Gilmer County, anybody been to Gilmer County's outdoor pool? Well, it's a mud hole now, right? They tore it up last year. Same thing happened with the city of Blue Ridge. Last year, we were trying to make a decision on the city pool in April, whether to spend $80,000 to $120,000 on reviving a 50-year-old pool or to close it. Of course, we closed it. And, you know, again, this year, we're going to keep it closed. We don't feel like if you look at the number of people who swim and use that pool, it's not worth the money for the city. I'm not saying it's not worth the money for the kids, but you gotta, as you know, you gotta spend your money wisely. But so if you look at the whole concept, let's talk about grants for a second. So if we have the city, the county, and the school system, we can all apply for grants. Just like recently, we're working with the county, hopefully on some type of a fire truck and the fire department deal. City can't even get a grant because we don't have a fire department, but we have a fire truck. The county can get grant money. So you've got to look at all of that, but there are all kinds of grants out there. Also, how many people in the city and the county realize that if you donate money to a particular project, it's a tax deduction? Everybody understand that? So if you go write a check to the city or the county for a certain project, you can deduct it on your taxes. There are also a lot of ways, and I don't want to get too detailed because I consider I can be here for 2 or 3 hours if I get real detailed with it. But also, you know, we have individuals in our community, people coming into our community that are looking at ways to get deductions, to give money. For example, we just had a donor gave money for the shade for the new city playground. Gave that 2 years ago. We wasn't ready to use it, so we basically banked it for 2 years, but it was designated straight to go to the shade. But there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of money that can be raised for a facility of this size. Now, $7 to $8 million sounds like a lot of money, but if we wait 10 years from now, that same facility will be $25 million based on our growth. So what I'm proposing is that the city of Blue Ridge do a joint venture with the school system and with the county government to see if we can use this piece of property that we've got sitting right here in the heart of our community and turn it into something that we can use. If you look at the numbers based on what I've put together, I feel like that we can fund it, we can manage it, we can maintain it. I feel like it'll be a profitable experience on an annual basis running the numbers. So, for example, if you're a golfer and you want to play golf, and let's say you're semi-retired and you want to go down and play golf at White Path, but yeah, I don't really want to spend the money. Well, if you volunteer to work 5 or 6 hours a week, you get to play golf free, year-round. I think with our aging population in Fannin County, we could use a lot of our senior volunteers to run the day-to-day operation of this facility. We'd have to have 3 or 4 employees. And the employees and everything would fall back on the city. That's what I'm proposing right now. But we would do an intergovernmental contract with the city, the county, and the school system. Does everybody in town know and understand that Gilbert County has a swim team? You know where they swim?
Crystal Lake.
Exactly. Where does Pickens County swim?
Crystal Lake.
They go to Cherokee. They go all the way down. But, you know, Union County swims in their facility. Mr. Gwatney and Mr. Hensley there. We had a Zoom call, 5 weeks ago, chatted a little bit about it, talked about it. I did another presentation with Mr. Patterson was there. I had a school board member there. I had a member from the United Community Bank Board of Directors there and some other local businesses. It's really a no-brainer. If we get across the money side, as far as the concept of putting it here, if you look at our aging population, can anybody tell me what the average age of Fannin County, including all children?
65.
Who said 55?
I said 65.
52.1. So if you look at our population, 52.1, and then you look at our average family income, and then you look at our projections over the next 10 and the next 20 years, and then you look at our property values, we've got a lot of issues financially as a county because we can only grow so much. Everybody says stop growing, quit growing, but we can't quit growing. We're not going to quit growing. And so basically, I'd like to come back at another time and go in more detail, and I'll be hopefully making a presentation to the school board in a few weeks as well. And I'm going to go and talk with several of the different organizations. But I'll leave this last thing with you. When we first started putting this program together in 1990, and I was going around the county, I probably spoke 50, 60 times at all the organizations. I tried to stress to the local citizens it would cost $173 a year for our local citizens, and that 82% of the facility would be filled with taxpayer dollars for people coming in on sales tax. And it was hard for people to get their minds across that, but I think everybody understands the sales tax and what we've done with, this courthouse and the library and the gymnasium and the football stadium and everything like that. So that's, I'll be glad to open up if anybody has any questions for me.
Maybe come back in and get on the agenda. I know there might have been some miscommunication. And I'll say it was on my part, so I'll take the blame for that. So maybe you can come back and get on the agenda, and that way.
And do a more detailed
Yeah,
presentation.
and you'll have
Go through
28
the
minutes.
numbers. And
Yeah, the numbers are important.
Numbers are important, aren't they?
They really are.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I don't need that going there. Maybe you should consider putting this facility on the town hall or public hearing meeting next week and have it both the white path and this discussion to get public input on. Just a thought.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Close public commentary. Brings us to executive session. I feel we need executive session this evening. So I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
We're good to go. I'll ask for a motion that we come out of executive session.
Make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So while in executive session, personnel matters and litigation were discussed and no decisions were made. I'll make a motion to terminate the animal control department head. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion to name J.R. Cornett as interim department head.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, that department head, that department position will be posted on our county website for anyone that wants to go take a look at that. Okay? All right. Ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.